This is a 2026 brand new Toyota RAV4 Limited. The RAV4 starts its 6th generation for 2026, bringing us a new design, new powertrain, and, of course, new technology inside. Toyota definitely sharpened up the looks here with more squared lines and sharper head and tail lights. But size-wise, it stays the same. This limited trim is near the top of 7 trims offered, and if you want to learn more, I break them all down in a different video you should definitely check out. And as you can see right away, I am not on my normal drive route and I am not alone. I'm very happy to be with the effervescent Eric Stafford of Car and Driver. Eric, how you doing?
Good, I'm awesome.
We already drove this car, but not this car. So if you notice a difference in color from some of the shots, that's why. Eric drove that one. That one was an XSE. This one is a Limited, slightly different. That one did have 20-inch wheels. This one has 18s, those kinds of differences. Toyota put a lot of work and effort into this new generation RAV4, and it makes sense because this is Toyota's most popular model, and indeed, the most popular SUV sold in the US. But all I really want to know is how does it drive? But first, while the base RAV4 LE costs $33,495, my limited test car rings up at $45,495. That's mainly due to the Limited's added features, but also includes the optional head-up display for $600. All right, let's take a quick look around and inside this new RAV4. New for 2026, the 6th generation RAV4 has new looks that are sharper than before, and I would say an improvement. I definitely like the sharp leading edges of the headlight assemblies and these cool hexagonal openings in the front grille, and generally it's just a more squared off, sharper lines shape that I think just fits the vehicle. Personally, I would go without those cross beams on the roof rack because that adds to the wind noise a fair amount, but generally I think it's a good shape. I'll go ahead and put the dimensions up on the screen right now for you to check those out. This is not that small anymore, even though it is still in the compact crossover category. Here's a nice look at the rear. It's nice and clean. It's not all the way full width tail lights, but it's definitely close. And of course, we've got the ubiquitous roof mounted spoiler right there. And if you open the car up, you'll see that we have a healthy amount of storage. I did take a couple of moments to look at it without the privacy panel and with the seats folded down, and you can see that we have, even with the seats up, a decent amount of storage, but a lot more with the seats folded down. There's your JBL subwoofer right there, and a little extra netted off space right there, and we do have a 12-volt power port right there. We do have reasonable space in the back row. As you can see, I have a few inches of knee room. Being a limited trim, I also have USB Type-C ports in back, as well as heated seats for all but the middle passenger. Looking at the front, also because we have a limited, we have the larger 12.9-inch center display, and every RAV4 gets this 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. The Limited also gets this special shifter to make room for the parking assist buttons. Other versions get a more standard style shifter. We also get 360-degree views here. Also up front, more USB Type-C ports, and as you can see, these supply 45 watts of charging power. We also get a heated steering wheel and heated and ventilated seats up front. Finally, as I mentioned before, my test car does have the optional 10-inch head-up display for $600. All right, let's dig into the powertrain. All RAV4s now include either hybrid or plug-in hybrid power. If you go hybrid, you get a 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder engine that combines with a main drive electric motor up front, and if you get all-wheel drive, a second electric motor on the rear axle. Altogether, front-wheel drive versions of the RAV4 get a combined 226 horsepower, and all-wheel drive versions get 236 horsepower. That power gets channeled through an electronically controlled continuously variable transmission before either going to the front or all four wheels. Fuel economy varies by trim, but even this heavier, all-wheel drive only Limited manages a very nice 37 miles per gallon in the city, 43 on the highway, 41 combined. By the way, while the plug-in hybrid version uses the same base 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder engine, every one of those is all-wheel drive, and peak system output jumps to 324 horsepower. Nice. But back to the hybrid we're driving now. This is really similar to what Toyota did with the Camry, the 2025 and newer Camry. And Eric, you got to drive this powertrain already. What did you think of it?
I mean, honestly, I had no complaints. Never left me wanting for power. I think, I messed around with the drive modes a little bit. You got sport, you've got normal, you've got eco, you've got a snow mode. I kind of switched between normal mode and sport mode. Felt a little bit quicker responses when you put it into sport mode.
Right.
If you're trying to in low speed traffic and you want to be able to quickly move ahead, I kind of like that feeling of the extra responsiveness in sport versus the normal mode. But I think most people would be fine if they just drove around town in normal. You're
absolutely right, Eric. I mean, this car, just like most of them, 99% of what the drive modes do is play around with the powertrain calibrations and that kind of thing. So it will be more responsive. And yeah, generally that's been the case for me as well. We're putzing around town right now and we're cruising calmly. We are in the normal driving mode. So we're in the normal drive mode right now. Floor it. It's not bad response. And then once you get moving, it's decent pull. All right, let's switch to sport. Floor it again. Oh yeah, you definitely get more aggression right away. The electric motors want to help as much as they can right away. That's actually pretty darn decent response. That is above average response for a mainstream crossover, in fact. And you know what? This isn't a terrible place. Let's do a quick acceleration test. Coming to a complete stop. Foot on the brake, floor of the accelerator. Sounds like 1500 RPM off the brake. Okay. Not bad. There was a little delay once I got my foot off the brake, but then we got a nice little lurch back. And then yeah, the engine gets right to the high revs and just stays there. Yeah, that's actually pretty darn decent pull. For a mainstream compact crossover, that's good pull. There was no wheel slip. We do have all-wheel drive. This is a hybrid output, so it's an electric motor on the rear axle. But we didn't get much, really much of any benefit from having our foot on the brake. There's no brake torquing really, but the car knew to give us an aggressive launch because of that, I guess, so that helped a little. The important thing is that the pull was good, the pull was smooth and consistent, and yeah, just like you said earlier, Eric, you're not wanting for power.
Not at all. And if you do want for power, they have a PHEV version with over 300 horsepower.
That's right, 324.
Wow.
All right, let's dig into the chassis. The RAV4 uses the most common suspension geometry today, struts up front and a multi-link setup in the rear. Every RAV4 has four-wheel independent suspension. There are some differences in wheel size and tune that will help responsiveness of the SE and XSE RAV4s, and the GR Sport gets a host of changes. But the Limited, rolling on 18s, suits me fine in a compact crossover SUV. Again, I'm driving the Limited. This is going to be the more comfortable version of the RAV4, but it's not bad. If I turn the wheel, I get a healthy amount of body roll. And the traction control system, the stability control system, is pretty quick to interact and kind of keep it from getting unstable. But, it's all competent. The motions of the car, the front and the rear axle line up, so it all feels linear and smooth enough. It's just not responsive. And the other side of that, as I mentioned before, is a nice and comfortable ride. These are very comfortable seats, and we are on not a terribly smooth road right now, but it's soaking it up without any trouble. Eric, do you agree?
I do. Excellent observation.
The concise Eric Stafford. Yeah, I think this is a good ride, and I think, honestly, if you're gonna get in a mainstream crossover, I'm gonna want ride more than I'm gonna want handling. Okay, time for a quick stint on the interstate. See how this feels on the open road. We do have Toyota Safety Sense 4.0. That is 1.0 higher than before. No, 1.5.0 higher than before. It was 2.5, now it's 4. Okay, cruise control is set at 78 miles an hour to go with traffic, and I do have all the driving aids on, and that does include automatic lane change. So, hands are off the wheel. To show you that it got mad at me pretty fast and my hands weren't on the wheel, but it will do a lane change for you. You have to do a half press of the lane change indicator to get it to work. At least I did, and it's pretty sensitive to get that half change, but if you do all those things, it will do the lane change for you. And the other thing that this system has that Toyota has had for a little while now is called lane tracing assist, and that does an excellent job to keep you centered in the lane even if your hands aren't on the wheel. That's really nice. One other thing, we're getting a fair amount of wind noise, but a big reason for that is this particular RAV4 not only has the roof rails, but it does have crossbars on it, and it is a bit of a windy day, so we're hearing those crossbars make a fair amount of noise. Otherwise, the cabin is pretty well isolated. Eric, what did you think of this thing on the interstate?
I thought it just like rode really smoothly. Other than the noise we're hearing now from the crossbars, the earlier version was a lot quieter.
Yes.
I really liked, like you said, the lane centering really helped. It was stable, and I had the adaptive cruise set up, and you could see they had mentioned the feature where it kind of analyzes if there's a drafting opportunity with a bigger vehicle or a smaller vehicle, which I thought was pretty cool. I tried that a little bit, and it seemed to work well, so I was impressed.
Yeah, and I think that's the critical element. Is this is a very comfortable car to be in. The seats are very comfortable. It's a very nice ride. This one in particular is an even nicer ride because we got 18-inch wheels instead of 20s. It's rolling down the road very pleasantly. Yeah, overall, it's a great highway cruiser.
Especially when you look at the fuel economy.
Especially
so they say.
So they say. Okay, quick handling test. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's pretty softly sprung. You can definitely tell this relies on ride more than handling in that spectrum, but it's totally competent. So as I mentioned at the top, this is a pretty short amount of time in the car, an invitation for Toyota to get a slightly early look at this car. So this is not a full review, but based on my first impressions, I think Toyota did a lot of things right here. It's comfortable inside. The right amount of technology is inside. This is the kind of car you could just jump in and live with pretty much right away. The point I'm getting at, and I think the point Eric would agree with, is this definitely merits a full review as soon as I get the chance.
Definitely.
I'm Robin Warner.
I'm Eric Stanford.
Thank you very much for watching.